Mr. Snyder here with the next tutorial in the grade 9 orientation trailer. Now our object is to actually start using the clips here that we have imported into our project bin. Remember that we put them into the video clips bin that we made. Right click, new bin. Okay, and then we go in that bin and we've got them nicely organized in what I call little mini stories. So the arrivals, principal, vice principal, link crew. We've done some of the upfront work for you that takes a lot of time, and that's organizing the clips. So what's the point of this video again? It's for you to tell the story of the day the best you can in an exciting and engaging way for your audience, so they'll have fun watching your video and get a great idea of what went on that day. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to take these video clips, we're going to start to build out or edit out our program on the timeline. And again, we're going to tell mini stories along the way. We're not going to just edit a random video with, all kinds of different shots mixed together. That'll confuse your audience. They really won't be sure what happened that day. So we're going to try to keep things kind of organized in this way, but that does not mean I can't take a clip, say a fun clip from the link crew, and use it maybe in the gym activities, something like that, if it works out and it's appropriate for the little story you're telling. Okay, so although they are kind of like stories that have been organized here, it doesn't mean you can't take a clip from one and use it in another section on your timeline. Okay, having said that, I have to show you something here about the timeline that I haven't shown you yet, and that's these little things at the top here. These are called markers. These mark points in time where things happen. If I just roll over it, don't click, just roll over with your mouse. Hey, look, Title 1. We put these markers in there for you when we actually made this video template, okay? So we've marked points in time. That's where Title 1 starts. Click on it, takes the play bar to that very first frame of the title, and there you go. That's the background for a title. Okay, next one, roll over it, 3 shots. What does that mean? 3 camera shots will go from this marker to this marker because that's where Title 2 starts. Okay, so 3 camera shots will go in here. These gray outlines are really showing you what camera shots, where camera shots would go. So let me just play this for a second and let's count the shots. It says there should be 3 different outlines in this section of shots. 1, 2, 3. It was subtle, but there's a shot change there. So there's 3 camera shots. Next one, Title 2. Click on it. That's where Title 2 will start. Next one. Hey, look, 4 camera shots will go in this range right here. You have enough room or enough time here. Remember, this represents time for a camera shot to go there. So click on it. There you go. First frame of the first camera shot of this little mini story. Next one, Title 3. And then you're getting the idea. Next one, 6 camera shots will go here. So I can tell a little bit of a longer mini story right in here. Okay. Next one, Title 4. Right here. Oh, only 3 camera shots here. Next one, click on it, Title 5. There's the background. Next one, oh, look at this one. Click here. Look at how big this time is here, how much time there is here. You've got more time for more shots, and this is the end of the video, so maybe you can mix things up a little bit to sort of have a big ending of your video, to have a kind of exciting end. Now, this again is orientation template 1. Your template is going to be different than mine. If you didn't pick template 1. Okay, but the markers are there for all 3 templates. Now, it says 6 to 9 shots. Apple, when they created this template, they used 9 shots in here. That might be too many for what we're doing. The shots might go by too quickly. You might not give your audience a time to appreciate what they're seeing. So you can use anywhere from 6 to 9 camera shots from your bins here. Okay, so it's a suggestion. But if it says 6 to 9, don't use 1 or 2 camera shots. Your video will be slow and boring. So we want to use at least 6, I would say, maximum of 9. And you'll find that maybe you don't really want to use the full 9. If you go over here to 6 shots, again, that's a suggestion. You could use 6, but you could use 4, 5 shots if you wanted to. Depends on the lengths of the shots that you're putting in. Keep in mind that the shots do not have to be the same. You might have 1 camera shot that you pick from the bins that's a second long. Another camera shot, you have to extend it a bit more to get the full action. Maybe it's a 1.5 seconds. So the shots you put in aren't the same length. You have to mix it up. Okay, and that's about making edit decisions. Okay, so now you know the structure of the timeline and how these markers are going to mark points in time at which you're going to either put titles in or camera shots in. Okay, so now you know how to use that. Let's start to do the actual editing process. Now, I want to remind you that this is a video about you, the grade 9 students. It's not about the principal and vice principals and the link crew, your teachers, or anybody else. It's about you. So I would suggest that you want to start your first segment, 3 shots here, with shots of grade 9 students. Okay, that's important. We want to give the grade 9 students the shout out for the most part. It does not mean we won't include the link crew and principal and vice principal. It just means that we want to really focus on the students. So I'm going to say to myself, let's go to the arrivals because that makes most sense. Why would I start with the lunch sequence, right? The little mini story there. Why would I start with the lunch here? It doesn't make any sense. That's not how the day started. And does it make sense to start your video eating lunch? Not really. Let's start with the arrival sequence in my case and watch. I've opened up the bin. Now look, I am doing what's called hover scrubbing. I am not clicking my mouse on the clip. I'm simply hovering over top, and if I go to the left, the video goes backwards. If I hover and go to the right, the video is playing forward. A great way to preview the content of what's in this clip so I can very quickly decide if that's something I might want to use in my project. See, I can do it on any of these clips. If for any reason you're not able to hover scrub, go up to the little menu bar up here, click, and make sure you're in icon view, which means I can see these icons. Make sure that you're in thumbnail view. These are thumbnails. And make sure hover scrub is turned on. So check mark all 3 of these and icon view and you'll be good to go. Okay, so let me look here. What have we got? Okay, that's about the link crew, right? So that's what I was talking about. This is not a story about the link crew. So let's not start with a shot of the link crew. What have we got here? Okay, that's kind of cool. There, we got a nice high angle look. And here, oh, we're looking at people walking away. I want to see faces to start. Well, this guy here is putting a tag on his shirt. Kind of cool, but I don't think I'd want to start with that. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go right to this first clip here. And yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. Students coming in. We got a hand in the foreground here. I'm going to double click it. Watch this. Double click. It opens up the clip in what's called the source monitor right up here. Now, this is where I'm going to actually be able to see the clip a little better than just the thumbnail view. And this is where I'm going to make my edit decisions to then bring this clip down to the timeline. So right now the workflow is double click the clip in your bin, brings it to the source monitor. We're going to do our little bit of editing here and then bring it down to the timeline. Okay, so how am I going to do that? Well, if you look at this source monitor, we have its own little play bar here. Now, I've been having some problems with my tutorial program here, so I've had to turn the sound off on the recording because it's been cutting my mic out. It's too loud. So you won't hear this clip, but there is audio there with it. So I'm going to drag it and hope that you can hear my sound as I'm dragging. So here we go. I'm going to what's called scrub. I'm going to scrub, not hover scrubbing now. I'm scrubbing through this clip. It means I'm basically just dragging the play bar and picking a point where I want it to start. Again, your job is to pick the best clips, which we've just done. I think this is a great clip. And now I'm picking the best portion of this best clip. Okay, that's what editing is making those decisions, as I've mentioned. Okay, so where do I want to start this clip? Because that's not so exciting, right? Big empty shot here. So starts to get good here. Oh, I like that high five thing, the side five, I guess you'd call it. Okay, so I know it's going to be a short camera shot in here because I've got 3 of them going here, so it's only going to be about 1.5 seconds shot. So I've got to make sure that if I want to include that side five, as I call it, right in there, I'm probably going to have to start the clip somewhere in here. So I'm going to start the clip with his face just slightly behind the hand. That's where I want this clip to start. Now the start point of a clip is called the in point. And I can now mark this as the in point frame for this video clip. How do I do it? There's 2 ways. I can click here, mark in, okay? Or I can just go I on my keyboard. Watch that little green mark. Did you see that? it changed. Let me just drag it out of the way. Look, I'm going to just change it. So that's an arbitrary endpoint. If I click on the I on my keyboard, watch this. It'll snap to that first frame that I've already picked. I in. There you go. That's the endpoint frame or the start of this clip. Let's play it in real time maybe. Bam. Oh, there we go. Okay. I want that to be the out point after she slapped the hand and she's not quite out of the frame. That's my out point. Again, I'm just going to drag this arbitrarily out. Okay, but I've got my play bar there, and wherever I have my play bar on the source monitor is the point which I'll mark an out point. I can either do it by selecting here for mark the out point. Why don't I do it that way this time? Or I can click O on the keyboard. Same thing. Click there. Where my play bar was becomes the out point. I have now just told the program that this is the portion of the clip I want to use as my first shot. Now that we've isolated this as the portion of this clip that I want to use, the best portion of the best clip, now I need to get it down to the timeline to start to build my project out. And you can see I've expanded video 2 here. It's much taller so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to actually drop video on top of video 2, which will cover, if I just click there, it'll cover these gray outlines, okay? So it's important to understand that I've locked video 1 and audio 1 so I prevent problems from happening. And I'm going to drop my video right down onto video 2 to cover this. Okay, I'm not putting it in that track, I'm putting it above that track. So here's what I'm going to do. I could click and drag and drop it down here, but look what's happened. I've also got audio with it. And I don't want audio because it's going to be really noisy and distracting. So I'm going to click on that clip and I'm going to highlight it and delete it. Okay, do it again. How do I get just the video? Very easy. Go to the film strip view here. It says drag video only. Click, drag, and then bring it down. Now that's on video 2. I haven't put it in the right place, but that is this portion of the clip. Okay. What I'm going to do right now is move my play bar out of the way. This is where that first clip starts with the video. Okay. So let me move the play bar and watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this clip. I'm going to drag it. I've got snap turned on here. That's really important. Turn snap on the magnet here. It should be darker to say that it's on. And as I drag this clip, look at, see how I get that little white triangle? It's saying that the endpoint here is snapping to this marker, which is the first frame of the 3 camera shots, okay? So take my play bar. I'm going to just click somewhere up here on my timeline, and I'm going to hit spacebar to play. Bang. And then spacebar to pause. One more time. It should pick up spacebar to play. Again, let's just take it back. This clip started just as his face was revealing from behind that hand. Good. And then there we go as her hand leaves the frame. There's my first shot, my in point and out point as selected from here. Now, here's the important thing that you understand is what if I don't like the points I've picked? I can still, on my timeline, drag to the leading edge or the trailing edge of a clip. The leading edge is the in point, and I could click and drag. See that red line? Click and I could modify my in and out points very easily by clicking on the in point or out point and editing right on the timeline and then snapping it back over if that's what I decided I wanted to do. Now, I don't like that as much because it's eliminated this gentleman here in the blue shirt. So I'm going to go Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, and I'm going to put this clip back to how I originally had it because I liked it. Bam, there he is, and there's that. Good. Now I've got time from the end of this point, the out point, to this marker here. That's title 2. I've got room for 2 more clips. So let's go find another one. I'm going to pick this one here. That's kind of cool, but it's kind of similar to what I have just on the other side of the group. Oh, look up here. See that? We've got students walking away from the camera. That's significantly different. Double click it. Brings it up here. Now I've already picked points up here, and once you've selected points and dragged it down, you're going to have this situation where you've already got points picked in this clip. So what you need to do is grab this little gray marker and then grab it like so, and then you can scroll along the clip and it reveals the whole clip. Okay, so you might have to do that if you change your mind at a later point. So don't forget about that scroll bar. Now I am going to take my play bar. along here, and I'm going to pick, I don't like this, it's too empty. Let's take it back. I'm going to scroll over. I'll probably pick close to what I had before. Scroll over. That green section is what I picked previously. I'm going to pick this clip to start right there. I for in. It'll be a small change, but it'll change. There you go. And then when do I want this to end? That's probably too long. I'm going to say shortly after this girl in the red high fives, O for out. That's now the good part of this clip, I think. I'm going to click and drag the video, drag and drop it, and I'm going to just move my play bar to make this easier for you to see. I'm going to now take this second clip and snap the in point of the second clip to the out point of the first clip. You see the little white triangle? Again, snap is on. Let's play those. I always play not right at the edit point right here. It's too hard for your eyes to adjust. Take it back a few seconds, hit play, space bar, first clip, snap, there. Oh, nice pace. I like that. I see enough of the second clip that I understand what's going on, but it's not so long that it starts to become boring. So I'm gonna buy those first two shots. I like them. Now let me pick something else for the third shot. Again, I'm gonna go down to my shots. Let's hover scrub. I've sort of got something like that. Oh, that's Link Crew. They don't really tell the story here. What do we got? Oh, we got this guy here putting a name tag on. Let's double click that clip. Again, I've used it previously. I'm going to just drag these gray bars so I can see the whole clip, and then I can scroll along. Okay, I'm going to use my play bar and scroll left so I can see a little more of this clip at the start. Okay, I'm going to use this clip from when he just starts to lift it off the page, right there. In point I, or you can use this little marker here. Okay, let's see where it goes. Again, I can now drag this out a bit. Okay. Oh, gets to his shirt. I think that's good enough. O for out point. So there's the good part of this clip. He lifts the name tag off the paper to his shirt. Click, drag, a same process. I'm going to snap it now to the end of the second clip. Let's watch this. There's music there if you can't hear it. Oops, what's the problem? The problem is these clips combined together aren't quite long enough to fill this space. I don't think I have enough room for a fourth clip, so what I'm going to do is take that last clip and I'm going to snap the out point of it and maybe I'm just going to extend the in point a little bit. Let's start it a little earlier, and then let's take this second clip. Now I'm starting to make adjustments right on the timeline. Okay, I'm going to make that a little longer and then make even that one a little longer. Let's see what happens now. So I've done editing right on the timeline. Watch again. Bam. Pretty good. And I no longer have any of that gray outline stuff going on. Now, why did we lock video 1 and audio 1? Let me show you. Let me unlock video 1. If by chance I make a mistake and I take let me just make this bigger. If I take a video clip and as I'm dragging it down, I happen to drag it down to the wrong track. Now, I dragged it down to the template video, which is not locked now. So I can fix that. Click and drag it up and snap it to where it should be. Let's see. Let's just move the play bar here. There we go. But what's the problem? I left a hole where I covered with this other clip. So that's now a problem. That's not good. So what am I going to do? Command Z, Z, Z. Lock that track again. Okay, I'm going to delete this clip. I'm going to drag it back down and watch. I can't drag it down to video 1. I've protected it by locking it. So there we go. And let's play it. Oh, got that little gray flash. Don't like it. Just going to extend the out point a little bit so it snaps to that marker. Let's check it. Nice. Okay, good. Now, something that may be occurring to you is that I'm able to still change clips even after I've made edit decisions up here. That's called non-destructive editing. None of this clip here with him with the name tag has been destroyed. It's all still there. You can always retrieve it by just changing the in and out points, okay? So that's called non-destructive editing, which is a key concept in editing. So I've got way too much of it now. There we go. See? But it's all still there. Nothing's been ruined. So Command Z, Z, Z. Anytime you're making these edit decisions, it's non-destructive. You can always go back to how you were. In fact, you could even use two portions. Say you wanted to use two portions of this clip. You could use two different portions of the same clip in your video by selecting in and out points in two different spots. Now, here's one of the keys. You notice when I added a clip, this first clip, to the timeline, to the source monitor, that the connection is now between my bin and my source monitor. And if I make changes, let me just move these other two clips out of the way so you'll see what I mean. If I make changes to my endpoint, non-destructive, making changes, making the endpoint much earlier, look what happened on my timeline. Nothing. Command Z, do it again. Watch the timeline as I change this clip in the source monitor. No change in my timeline. That's because the connection is between my bins and my source monitor, and that change I'm making is not reflected on my timeline. If I want to change the endpoints in my source monitor on the timeline, double click the clip on the timeline, adds it up into your source monitor, and then you got to use your little gray scroll bar here. This is a little funky. I'm not too fussy on that. But I could then go and say, okay, that's my new endpoint. Now watch here. See how it's made this clip much longer. The change I made here is now reflected on the actual timeline because I've actually added the video clip from the timeline into the source monitor. So that's an important relationship you understand. Either you're making changes from your bins to your source monitor, that relationship, which is not reflected in your timeline, or you're making changes by double clicking the clip into the source bin, and then any changes you make up here will then be reflected on the timeline. Okay, so please be aware of that. The other thing I want to make evident to you, we've got non-destructive as a key term in editing. The other key phrase is nonlinear. You notice that I didn't start, go minus minus. I didn't start with this first title. I said I'm going to do my titles later. I actually started with my first section of video clips. That's nonlinear. I'm editing out of order. In fact, if I chose to, I could edit the next section of video down here if I chose to. I don't have to edit things in order. I could do a title right now if I wanted to down here. So things can be done in and out of order, any order you want. It's called nonlinear. In the days of videotape, where recordings were actually made on videotapes, making changes in the middle of a project was a huge nightmare. It cost you a lot of time and it cost you a lot of money because you had to actually re-edit the rest of the video all over again to change something in the middle. Massively problematic. For us, with nonlinear, we can make changes at any time. So here's your job now. I want you to now go and I want you to edit out the rest of your timeline, making great edit decisions by picking the best video clips first in your bins, and then picking the best portions of those video clips in the source monitor, and then dragging video only down and snapping to the exact spots you want it to be along your timeline.